All right, we are live once again. Fireside Chats with Freddy. Thank you guys very much for joining us today. We are live straight from Surviving Barstool. Two very special guests, obviously, with us tonight. We have the Cape Cod Insider, Beyond Average Mick, and we have Mama Kay joining us as well. Thank you guys for joining. Welcome to the program.
What's up,
Say hello to the people.
Thanks for having me.
Hello, people. Ready, go. Ready, go. That's what I hear. That's all I'm hearing in my head right now from that episode that we just watched.
Great episode. Yeah, Jeff Delo's voice is echoing in my head as well.
Yes. Ready, go.
Yeah.
Ready, go.
Yeah. So thanks again for joining. This show is a KMS discussion show with well-informed guests. So I appreciate you guys hopping on. There's been a lot of chatter about people trying to get on the show. We are, we've got our list booked out well into January. So thank you for your patience.
Let's go.
It is a stacked bench. I appreciate that. So
Before
we'll jump right into it.
Can I ask you one question?
Yes, go for it.
Where are you at with the other networks? Are you one of the shows that's beefing with the other networks? Are you civil? I like to ask that off the top because I venture on each other. I like to go on all the networks, but is this one of the toxic shows? Is what I'm going to ask you.
No toxicity here. I gravitate towards good KMS content.
All right.
If that's 3 Up, 3 Down with Kane, I'm there. If it's Menners Live, I'm there.
Freddie's very serious about his craft.
I can tell. I'm with it.
And Menners has been very, very generous to me. He's offered me huge deals to go across the street, but right now I'm right here. So
very good.
We're rolling. So we're gonna hit a few topics. Obviously, crazy week going on. Mick, you're sort of the man of the week. I am curious. We're not going to kill it to death, but the Juan Soto thing has been bubbling up in the universe. What's the fallout been like, or if it's not fallout, how's it been for you?
I will say it's been pretty heavy fallout. Two of the more passionate fan bases in America, and I would say in all of sports, across the world, the Red Sox and the Yankees, they both hate my guts. If you're on social media and you're a Red Sox fan, you probably hate me right now, and that's okay. I get that. So I'm not butthurt about it, but it does, like, pretty much any tweet now, whether it's about KMS or about anything, I get 3 or 4 Red Sox fans being like, you suck, your sources suck, everything about you sucks. So the DMs are full of hate. It is what it is. I
have a question for you, Mick.
What's up?
When did you know you were in trouble? Like, you were so confident.
Do you remember do you know the picture that came out with Soto at lunch over the weekend? Yeah. That picture is when I was told the Red Sox felt a little less confident because they were at 700 million, and that apparently was when everything started to go crazy. Originally, I was told 600 million would be high. So he got to 760, almost 800 million.
Now, you did say signed. You said...
Oh, no, I fucked up completely saying that too much. But I also was told he's definitely a Red Sox. So the way I phrased it originally, I would have said, I'm told the Red Sox and Soto have an agreement in place, rather than saying he's signed. That was probably the one thing I regretted throughout all of this. Was just an original tweet I didn't phrase correctly.
Do you think, in a weird way, you got him an extra $100 million on his contract?
I've seen this. No, I think no matter what, Scott Boras is the smartest guy in the world. So I think he was jacking this up right before winter meetings, and he has a ton of other clients. So, I guess around baseball, everybody was saying they want this deal to get done now so it can kind of set the market for everybody else. I don't think I made him any extra money, but I think the chatter definitely helped him overall. I don't think me specifically, because there was a ton of people that were talking about it, but my report, I think, was
you too. Engagement.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. And
are you getting that Twitter? Are you getting that X paycheck this month?
No, so everybody's thought I saw everybody accusing me of that. I actually got rid of the blue check mark for that because I'm like, everybody thinks I'm just trying to benefit off this.
Why would you do that? Take your fucking $50 bucks.
Yeah, just $50. Like if it was like $1,000, then we'd be talking differently. But it was whatever, $50. But maybe I'll throw it back on now.
Like,
but I wasn't trying to do that.
What is it? You can't take any money.
Love the game, Mama K. It's the love of the game. That's all it is.
And the timing of your announcement was historic. Thanksgiving is typically, I think that's when they got Schilling back in 2004. Excuse me.
You're right about that.
Was there anything specific to why you dropped it on Thanksgiving?
Without giving away,
he wasn't invited to the family dinner.
Yeah, I've seen that. That was good. That was nice. Nice of people to put that out there. I put it this way: you see your family around the holidays, right? You see some people that you haven't seen in a while. maybe I ran into a couple of people that I haven't talked to in a while, and it stemmed from that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Any final let's put a bow on the Juan Soto thing for tonight's
Yeah.
group. Any final thoughts on it?
No, like I said, the biggest regret I have was the way I phrased the original tweet. If I worked for a credible like news source, if I worked for the New York Times or whoever, you know what I mean? If I the MLB Network, I wouldn't have been as risky with it and as aggressive. I hope people know that. If I actually, I don't really, I consider myself an internet journalist, right? Like I'm not applying to any rules here. I don't have any trouble other than people hate me on Twitter. So I'm not going to get in any trouble from anybody. So I guess other than that, like I wouldn't tell people to like understand, but I don't have any like ill intentions towards it. I think some people thought I was trolling just to fire up fan bases. I really wasn't doing that. I was just kind of like reporting what I was told.
Well, you've certainly catapulted into the category of needle mover. So
Thank you.
Whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, that's where you're at. So
I'll take it.
Good to see. So let's just get some instant reaction to Surviving Barstool. I don't know if everybody out there has watched it. So spoiler alert, the episode did just end. Nothing too crazy, as Dave Cullinan would say. But I don't know, Mama K, initial thoughts?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I want to address the chat that says that I'm drunk. This is my first glass of wine. I'm drinking it in Mick's honor.
Yes. Cheers. I don't have any wine glasses, but it's wine.
He told me that he was going to be drinking wine.
In honor, right?
In honor. Yeah. So I said, I don't usually drink during the week, but I'm having a glass of wine.
Fair enough.
For your crazy, amazing, psychotic, whatever that week was. Good on you, Mick. Yeah, no, surviving was fun. I was amped up for this because they've been hyping it as like now is when the game starts. In the end, I don't think there was anything shocking in elimination. Spoiler alert, if anybody's not watched. But it was fun that challenge they did. I knew Kirkwood's going to do okay because he's got endurance with his running. So
if anybody didn't see, the challenge was basically this awesome, like if we had to do this in gym class, it would have been the coolest thing ever.
I liked that challenge.
Hold a stick, let go of it. They were all lined up in a circle, and the person next to you had to grab your stick, and you had to basically grab the next stick and keep going. And they must have done a million edits because
it was hours. I feel like I want to know how many hours that was.
It was like 15 minutes on the screen for us. Jeff said ready, up, go no less than 1,000 times. They probably did that challenge for 2.5 hours.
Yeah, I would love to get the breakdown of how long that really took.
And Jeff did a great job of like switching up his cadence with the ready, set, go. Like I think that's the hardest.
I'm gonna be dreaming ready, set, go.
Yeah, right.
For a while.
But Kirk's tribe is strong. They did get rid of Gilly. He tried to. I don't think he knew what he was doing at the end there, but Gilly's gone. So we've got a lot of strong players. And
question on that real quick, Freddie, if I can.
Yeah.
What did you make of Kirk swearing on the life of his children that he thought that Gilly had a key or an immunity idol? Like, do you think that was a play? You think he was trying to see maybe if other people?
Sarcasm, Mick. You should know by now that was freaking sarcasm. Come on.
I think so too. But what was his goal with it? To see if everybody else would kind of vote other way?
To be sarcastic.
Okay.
No one's better than Kirk, and what he was doing was making sure his teammates realized that like there's no chance Gilly has this. Right. Because there was no chance. He didn't even know idols were in the game until 10 minutes before that.
Correct, Freddie. So, you have it 100%. It was his way of sarcastically telling his teammates the plan is on.
Well, they panned right to Biz. I mean, who's probably not the smartest guy ever, but he was like, wait, what? Like, he immediately was kind of all thrown off by it. Like, he's like, you think he actually has it? So, I mean, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I, for a moment, was like, maybe Gilly actually is going to pull an idol out of his ass here, and it's going to.
Now that would be amazing, but he didn't know. He didn't know what the hell he was doing.
That would have been wild. I am surprised Biz didn't pick up on Kirk's sarcasm. I guess they don't know each other super well yet. But Biz is an NHL player. He's been in locker rooms. The type of NHL guy usually does have that thick sense of sarcasm. So I was surprised he didn't pick up on what Kirk was putting down there.
Well, not everybody would swear on the life of their kids sarcastically.
That's true. That's a good point.
That's not that's not an every person, every man thing. But you know, Kirk is Kirk, and he's gonna do that sarcastically, and we know
So
that.
the challenge looked like a lot of fun. Kirk with the endurance, but it didn't last forever. He's the oldest guy out there. I don't think anybody else his age could hang with the way they were doing it out there. The other tribe voted off White Sox Dave. I don't know if you guys that a couple of people tried to pull a few moves at the end there. Francis got a vote. Clemmer was getting in the mix. What did you guys think about that?
I think Clemmer kind of alluded to it while he was voting. I think that's going to come back to be a problem that he voted for Francis. As he said, he's like, I think he's going to take this the wrong way. And maybe I would too if 250 grand was on the line. But that's
Dave's going to always think that Gilly comment about Clemmer is going to.
It's a good point.
What about White Sox Dave's eyes? That's what stuck out to me.
He's a wild character. He's something else. I don't know what's going on.
Like a maniac. I don't know him that well. I mean, I'll be the first to admit I don't go, deep dive into all the Barstool content, and so I know him. I know of him, but I don't watch anything with him. What the hell was with his eyeball?
I don't know.
So for those that didn't see it, he was in a room full of 30 people looking for the idol.
But he was the whole way that every time they showed him, he was like that.
And I don't know.
He wasn't trying to do it discreetly. He was telling people like, yeah, it might be in here. And just looking around like a fucking crazy man. It was something else.
I don't know if he was, I don't know what Adderall does to you, but I don't know that could be,
like that might be a side
something
effect
that makes your eyes bug out and make you sort of go crazy.
He looked like an insane man.
They also had a lot of adrenaline pumping from that challenge because they were shuffling and shucking and jiving for 2.5 hours. So it's not.
That was a great catch by Kirk, by the way. Biz made a bunch of them.
Yeah,
an old man to get down there and catch that, and and I love the delay tactic by Roan. That was good. Trying to give him a few minutes of rest.
Yeah, very good. I was surprised. I saw Portnoy dive for one too, and I mean, again, 250 grand for him is not a ton of money, but I think everybody's taking it super serious.
Yeah, and he needs to at least, like Kirk alluded to last week, give that fake hustle, at least appear like you're giving it your all. You don't want your teammates to think you're not trying out there. Any other takeaways from any other tribes? There's so many strong players left. I think with the Brick tribe specifically, I could be wrong on this. Maybe I think Kirk and Roan on this tribe, one of them is the boss and one of them is the underboss. And I think they're just waiting to get to that big merge. But like Rhea's been really strong. She's making a lot of moves.
Very strong. I like Portnoy. Her. She's kicking.
She's playing the game.
Trying.
So any sleepers or favorites, or who do you guys like that's still in there?
My favorite to win it all, I originally said Biz and Francis. I'll stand by Biz. Biz, I think, is my favorite to win it all right now. I think he's going to get to the point where he's likable, where people kind of like it. Like, he doesn't seem to have too many targets on his back at all, and he's very athletic, so I think he's going to do well in challenges. And I just think being on not the outside of Barstool, not being super connected to everybody, like he does chicklets and he does some of the other stuff, but he doesn't have a lot of the inner company drama. So I think for him, he's going to play that to his advantage. So if I had to say my favorite would be Biz.
If he wins this on piggyback of his 7-on-1 Irish mob story, he should literally just, to the moon. Like, that would be an amazing 1-2 punch for Biz. And I don't disagree with you, Mick. I think he's a favorite to go pretty far just because he is athletic. He stays below the radar. He's not trying to lead from an obnoxious standpoint. He's just following a little bit right now. But yeah, no, I don't know if he'll win just because I think someone who's got a little bit more control of the game will probably axe him near the end. But if he pulls that off after his story and the video coming out today, that would be good on him. That would be amazing.
And I'll state the obvious. He's kind of playing this year's version of what Will Compton did last year. He's an ex-athlete. He's a little bit flying under the radar. He's not in the office. He doesn't see everybody all the time. So people like him, and he's super nice. So he if he does fly under the radar, he could definitely go very, very far in this game.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, Megan making money, trying to make moves. Big Cat seems like he's might be getting nervous. And Any final thoughts before we move on?
Are they doing the merger next episode, or is there a couple more before that happens?
So in typical Survivor fashion, we don't know.
Okay.
We're not going to find out until it happens.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And I forget. So this was the episode 4. So there's been 8 people voted off. So they're down to 16. So they may just start next episode and go straight into 2 tribes of 8.
Yeah.
Or they may wait till the end of the episode and go to 2 tribes of 7.
What are the teams? We got five on one team. Will's team, Will and Big Cat, right? They're on 5 because they were calling that.
You have the 4 of them and Mincy, or Megan, Will, Whit, Mincy, and Big Cat.
And then Brick just lost another one, so they're down.
They got 6. Yep.
6. Mm-hmm. The other team has 6, right?
Yeah, 6, 6, and 4. If that adds
5.
Up.
I thought no, because 5 won. Mincy's
it doesn't matter. There's 16 left. There's been 2 eliminated.
Well, I'm just wondering if they're going to make it. The question was, as I was thinking, maybe they'll wait till they're equal before they merge.
No, that I don't think. No, they wait until they get to the number they're waiting for.
Oh, okay, so maybe total. 12.
Yeah, because you never know if one tribe loses. If they keep losing, they're going to whittle down to nothing. That's why there's strategy involved in keeping stronger players for the challenges.
You're right.
So that's traditional strategy.
More of a little dark horse, I would say, not necessarily a favorite, but I think he's going to play the game well as it kind of gets a little deeper here, is Clemmer. Clemmer seems like a type of guy that can, I think Clemmer, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing about him, but I think he could lie to your face, no problem about it. And then go right into, especially if it benefits him in a game like this. Like, I think that's what we're going to start seeing, people lie to each other directly, right to their faces.
Well, he said he wasn't going to backstab Dave, right? Didn't he say that in that episode?
Yeah, he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to mess with.
He thinks it's an advantage for himself, though. He wants Dave kept around for a little while, but I think eventually he will stab. I think he'll stab anyone in the back.
I think he's such a fan of Survivor. He lives for this. I think he's going to try to make a huge move. So it might be at a Portnoy, it might be after the merge at a Big Cat, or one of these guys, a Rico, someone you wouldn't expect. I don't think he would stab Kirk in the back. I think that's a no-fly zone for Clemmer.
I mean, $250,000 is a lot of money.
I don't think he'll stab. I think he knows better than to unleash that wrath on himself.
You think he would sacrifice his own self
in the game?
Yeah.
No, but he'd try to.
I don't know if it's going to come to that because we don't know. I mean, he could go before Kirk or whatever. We don't know. But I don't think if it comes down to him writing Kirk's name, he'll never write. Just like Kirk didn't write Jerry, even though he knew Jerry was going. Mm-hmm. I don't think he'll do it.
And props to Jeff D. Lowe as always. He does a great job hosting this. I was wrong. I thought Tommy Smokes was going to be a little more visible in this game, but he's sort of been very much in the background, not really doing much. But
it could be the edit too.
So moving on into more KMS stuff, sort of the topic of the last couple of days, we've got our friend Justin.
Oh boy. And
some concern for his potential perversions or taste in extracurricular activities. Mick, what are your thoughts?
Disturbing. It's quite disturbing. Again, nothing's illegal, so we're not going to say that anybody deserves to go any jail or nothing like that. But it's very, very creepy. Is the way I would describe it. I don't want to kink shame. Again, everybody has their own. But just when I saw the picture for the first time, I had heard them talking about it and was listening live on YouTube. But when I saw the picture for the first time of the girl, like legitimately almost dropped my phone. I was like, oh my God. Like it looked like an 8th grader. That's the best way. I mean, I can't even say that she was like, I'm not even going to comment on if she was attractive or not because she's an 8th grader is what it seemed like. I don't know. I mean, it was something else. Tough look for the big guy. Tough look.
Mama Kay, what do you think? And also, is the mall a good place for a first date when you're in your mid-20s?
Oh God! So I think I posted on X earlier about that.
You probably did because.
Oh, shut up! I think if I were to play a dime store psychologist here, and I do have a little history with like psychoanalyzing kids because I have 4 teenagers and 20-year-old. I've done a lot of freaking trying to figure out this generation. Let's just say that. And he's a little older.
Though. Yeah, I mean, he's not a kid, but yeah.
No, but what I'm saying is that in a weird way, and I have no idea, this is for his therapist who talks to the Patriots to figure out and hasn't.
A big week for him.
I feel like that Justin and I'm gonna try to navigate this because I really like Justin and I don't want to whatever. But I feel like he is stunted emotionally to a point where everything where he ever is stunted to, and this happens with people, that's kind of where he lives. So he's got the proclivities of younger whatever, but he also likes, Teen Titans and games and Pokemon and malls on dates. And if you were to talk to him without knowing how old he was and you'd had no idea, you would think he was like 16, 17, 18.
Oh, Jesus. Oh,
you would. Like his
Well, we don't have to get into the whole Freud of it all. This is
but I'm just saying that I think that's where that comes from. To be honest, I think he is like emotionally like a teenager, and he lives at home and he hasn't really matured to the next level yet. And I think he wants to. I think he's a good dude. I think he's a good guy, and I just think in his mind he's just doing what where he is kind of emotionally and psychologically. I'm not 100%, that's just my take on it from an outsider, right?
I guess I was only stunned because it's a bit like, I know Justin, the pedophile bit, the live show video, like it is very funny to have that just like right up on your phone like that. And again, maybe the picture was from a few years ago, but I can't go back to it enough. Like I legitimately was stunned. I was gasped. I was like, oh my God. Like what?
You went back to it a lot, Mick? Is that what
No. I was like, I had to get it off my phone in case someone saw it. Oh my God. But I mean, each of their own. Like, again, we're not going to kink shame and everything's legal here. And I don't think he's doing anything too creepy, but it was just, I mean, Cullinane sold him right out there. Ultimately, it is Cullinane's fault. I mean, Justin has it on his phone there, but that's Cullinane.
You loved it. Don't love it.
And I'll preface this by saying that the producers have a tough job. We can't always put ourselves in their shoes. We don't know what they're doing behind the scenes, but I do want to call into question Justin's judgment. I have it on good authority that he held on to that parody song. He had it 5 days before he actually played it on the show.
Whoa.
And it took a little Twitter pressure before he actually went ahead and played it. Do you also call into question his judgment in that arena?
If you remember, one of the more recent, if I believe, one of the more recent songs that got played got shut down immediately. And it led to Kirk being like, you thought that was funny? Like you thought that was going to be good? So I think Justin maybe has a, maybe a little more just cautious with it. So I don't necessarily think he was going out of his way to like smear Bobby, but I think he's more just cautious with will Kirk actually.
I think he overthinks it. I think he overthinks things.
Right.
And I think to Mick's point, he is very much a worried about what Kirk's going to say and react, and he doesn't want to invite. He doesn't want to invite that. So he overthinks it instead of just letting it fly.
And on that same note, that's a really good point. And I'll give Sneakers credit again, because Sneakers in the comments, like live on the YouTube show, he's saying, look at everybody in that studio. They're scared as hell. They just want to make sure that Kirk thinks it's funny, and then they'll laugh at it. And that's
Menner's point too, isn't it?
That's kind of exactly what happened.
That Menner has been saying that. I'm not trying to discount what Sneakers says that all the time, but Menners has been saying that about producers too, is that they're afraid of him and what he's gonna say.
I mean, ultimately it's Kirk's show, so if he really has a problem with what they're doing, he's going to tell them it. And I mean, other than not having topics, like I don't know what more they're supposed to do. Like he's not like, yeah, I'm really into this TV show, and they're not talking about it. Like that's not happening. So I guess it is on them to bring more to the show, but it is his show, and he's going to drive the creativity of it and, the direction it goes each day. Yeah.
Also, shout out to Justin. When the other thing on his browsing history, he's like, you didn't bring up the fact that I was looking up FDR, the 1944 election.
That was such a weird dichotomy.
He's hopeless.
I think he had Fireside Chats on the brain, so he was going back and looking up some FDR information.
Let
But
me ask you, Mick, if you were in the producer spot, which you
Yeah.
have had opportunity a few times.
Substitute producer.
We don't need to drag that and
Yeah, we don't
relitigate
gotta
that.
talk about that. Yeah, that's
But
right.
but what would your approach be as far as when Kirk says, what do you got? Like, what type of stuff? Would you just be looking for stories of the day? Would you fight back? Like Menor says, stop, coddling Kirk. I know you go back and forth. I will say sometimes you're very combative with him, and sometimes you're very meek with him, depending upon your mood. So
yeah, I think again, like, it's tough to fake topics that he's not going to be interested to. Like, it's ultimately on him. But I think with the producers, they could do a better job at going back and forth and maybe not even going back and forth, just standing to a take instead of being like, oh yeah, you're right. Like, Kirk's very good at kind of counterpointing stuff and being like, oh, well, what about this? Right after someone says something, and then they're like, oh yeah, you're kind of right. Like, they're very quick to kind of just, oh yeah, you're right. I agree with you.
Abandon their position.
Yeah, kind of just maybe hold to their takes a little more, but I can't think of a specific example, so I probably sound like a kind of a hypocrite here. But I guess it's just tough to bring topics to a show that is about somebody else's interest. And again, if Kirk was like, I really want to talk about this, and the guys were just like, yeah, we're never going to bring sound up about that, we're not even going to bring it up, like, that would be different. But I don't think that happens.
Well, and I think sometimes it depends on Kirk's mood, where one day it could hit and one day it couldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't stop Steve. I will say that. Steve brought up whatever the hell he wanted to bring up that he wanted to talk about.
Well, and Steve also, he came to every single show with 50 audio clips cut and ready to go. I don't think any producer has brought that many audio clips.
No, I think Steve your live to tape brought more audio clips today than anybody's brought.
Yeah. We'll get there. Shifting gears real quick. We're a little over halfway through. We're gonna do a little quick KMS trivia if you guys are game for that.
Hit me.
All right, so it's gonna be 3 quick questions, maybe 4 if there's a tie. We'll see. But if you know the answer, just shout it out and we'll go from there. First question. What was the name of the OBGYN that was on a KMS episode in September of 2020, brought on to examine DEC the pussy?
I would have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I'm terrible with names. I wouldn't know if it was my own OBGYN.
For some reason, I thought you were going to talk about the chiropractor guy, and I have his name is Steven, but I don't know if that's even right, but that was the first thing that came to my mind.
I think I'm going to rename
Dr. Lance. I'm going to cheat. Dr. Lance, is that right?
I think I'm going to rename this segment the Stacy and Madawaska's phone trivia segment, because Stacy's phone in the comment section gets it every time. It was Dr. Lance Minahan.
Thanks, Stacy's phone.
Dr. Lance Minahan.
Okay, so 0-0. No one gets that one. Second question. Which HBO personality often prompted Jerry Callahan to say that he was going to cancel HBO?
Oh, that was Bill Maher.
Yes. Bill Maher.
And now he loves Bill Maher because
that guy's done like a 180, right? He's now like loved by conservatives.
Well, half.
No.
And half.
Well, he hasn't moved, but the left has moved to the left, or whatever people say.
Yeah.
Good job, Mama K. Up 1-0. This next question is a 2-parter, so we'll see what we can get out of it. Can you name Kirk Minahan's father's favorite musician?
Oh, it was.
I'm bad at this. Yeah, damn it.
I know he loves Les Mis, but that's not a musician. It's in there, but I'm not going to remember it.
Kevin from Bristol has called himself a dime store this person.
Oh, I got you then. Roy Orbison, right? Roy Orbison.
You got it, Mick.
Yeah, I'm surprised it took me to Kevin to know that, but I remember that.
Kevin from Bristol reference brought you home. All right.
All right, since it is a 2-parter, Mick, this will be for the win if you can get it.
All right.
When they did talk about Roy Orbison, they looked up the museum, and it was in a town in Texas, and they discussed having a live show at this small town in Texas in 2022 but it never quite came to fruition. Can you name the town in Texas that they discussed?
I need to find my guy who I met from that town, who's a Minifan. I met him in Madawaska. He's the guy who called in with that information. Is it? It's not Caney? No, that's Caney, Kansas.
Is it Lubbock?
No,
Lubbock?
It is not. It is not.
no, Lubbock. Is it? It's Wink.
Yep, you saw the comments. Good
What?
job.
I,
Yep, it is Wink,
Stacy's
Texas.
phone. Stacy's phone has it. No, I didn't. I honestly didn't.
Okay, so I think we're still 1-1, right? Okay, one more. Last one. If this is actually a really hard one, so we'll do it quick. Can you name Kirk's favorite Boston-based movie? And if no one gets this, then we're just going to end in a draw.
I know it's not Good Will Hunting. That's very clear.
This question, this is like an 8 out of 10 question. This is difficult.
Awesome.
It's a film from 1982 starring Paul Newman and directed by Sidney Lumet.
Okay, that doesn't help me.
Hustler?
The Verdict.
The Verdict, I meant.
The Verdict.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So
All
we
right.
stumped them, folks.
You
Two
did.
right out of 4. So we'll move on.
May I ask real quick, Freddie, how do you determine the difficulty of these questions? And how do you make them?
It's just all up in my brain.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you just go back to a random episode and then be like, all right, what did he say here? This is you know what I mean?
It's a.
I would just call Tim and Canton,
There
frankly.
you go. That's a good point.
We can talk offline about my process.
Okay. Good.
We don't need to share it with the.
We don't need to divulge that.
We don't need to get behind the curtain of the Freddy Lynn Oz curtain.
So here's a good one. So we are 6 days away from Kirk announcing the Minifan of the Year. I think at this point it's a runaway, and I think it's Mick Marks going away. And Mama K, I'm curious if you agree with that. If you don't, who do you think might be, one of the top 2 or 3 finishers, or who's going to take it all?
Well, so when he has made his comments online and on the show, there's been times where he has said this person is on this list or top 10, blah, blah, blah. And Mick has not been in that group. Now, that does not mean he hasn't changed his mind at some point, because it's Kirk. He can change his mind and he can just throw you off the scent or whatever. So I don't know if it's Mick, because I think at one point he had said that it was someone in some group and Mick wasn't in that. So I was
but I think all that doing the decoder ring and trying to figure out which group, I think that's all a fool's errand, because I think Kirk can change his mind whenever he wants.
100%. And now there's 50% is
so
to that guy.
So who do you think it is?
Who do I think Kirk's gonna pick, or who do I think it should be?
Both.
Because that's 2 separate.
So give me 2 separate answers.
I think I've gone back and forth on his choice. I think he could go out of the box with like Josh and James a few times, I've thought, because they've kind of been in the mix there, and Mick, Montante, but he said no Montante, but he said Mick is allowed, and then he said Clemmer's not. So it's kind of been all over the place. So I really don't know who Kirk's going to pick. If I were to pick, I think I would pick, if I were picking, it would come down to Mick or Montante. I think they both have had different impacts in the show for different reasons.
Mick, your thoughts?
I'll let everybody on a little secret. I don't know this for sure, but just in my own opinion, I am not the Minifan of the Year. I assure you, I don't know this again, but I assure you, I will not be picked. I don't even know if I deserve to be picked. If you go on just based on like talked about and stuff that's happened on the show, there's an argument, but there's other people too. I think it might be Clemmer, I really do. I know he said it can't be Clemmer. He's also said it can't be Montante. So if we're going by all of that, but I think he wants to pick Clemmer, and I think Clemmer would be a good choice. He's participates with the show a lot. He's came in. I think he came in twice this year, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't know. He's all they call him. Almost every show, every other show.
I feel like if he picks Clemmer, then it's. I don't know if he will, but after Jeff D'Lo last year, if he picks Clemmer this year, then it's just a Barstool My Friend award, to be honest. And I think that would devalue it.
But Clemmer is a little different than Jeff.
As if it has any freaking value. I said that very seriously, and then I realized how absurd that was.
An Oscar.
Yeah, who recently was it? Freddy's Birdies got upset at Shark Minahan. He's like, the criteria doesn't exist. How can we pick a winner?
That guy was something else.
There is no criteria. Listen, I'm the only one, and this thing hasn't been eliminated from it. So maybe it's me. Come on, Kirk. Give it to me. No, I'm not. No, he doesn't like
clip that.
Don't clip that.
Cinema Lord is also a dark horse as well. Cinema Lord's a big dark horse. He's contributed a lot to the network. He stirred up some drama with Steve from Gloucester. He was really good with the basketball. Like Cinema, he wore the shorts the whole time. He was in on the bit. So Cinema Lord's definitely someone to consider.
But he said it wasn't him the last time.
He said a lot though. I think we all.
I know that's what I mean. Like who the hell knows?
Yeah.
Speaking of Cinema, he did stir up some drama with Steve from Gloucester. Steve from Gloucester would have been my pick to ban for a year. To ban.
Oh, to ban. Excuse me.
For a year.
Oh, it's illogical than that.
So I am curious if there's any lingering fallout from the Mutt ban, or if it's so far in the past we've moved forward. You guys have any like the death pool thing twist? Any names or anything interesting that are you for that, or are you upset because it's not true to the ban, or where are you thinking?
What are you meaning? What? I'm sorry, I didn't get what's the question?
The death pool. Like now that Mutt's been eliminated, do you like the death pool or not?
The idea of it, just the whole thing?
So Mutt being still alive, he could still come back in if the celebrity dies.
I got you now. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I do. I like the idea of it. Anything to get Mutt back on the show would be great. And if
I just like the content of it.
It would also be kind of funny to celebrate someone's death with Mutt coming back. Like, I mean, that's not really, again, it's not a great reward, but it's
he should just pick Jimmy Carter every week. I think.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep. Any old or young celebrities that you want to see added to that pool?
We could throw some wild cards in there.
Asking, do I want someone to die? Is your question? I think.
I think Britney Spears
predict, not want.
There.
Okay, all right.
I'd put Britney Spears in there.
It's not a bad one.
She's as erratic and crazy and unpredictable. With the Diddy list, any of those on the Diddy list could also be young and be offed at any time. But old people, I mean, heck, Clint Eastwood any day, Gene Hackman any day. I hate to say it. Sorry, Kirk. There's a lot.
My pick would be, I mean, this might be a trendy guy to hate now, but I've hated him for quite some time, and that would be Jason Kelce. I could do without him.
That would take something.
Yeah, I mean, again, he's got a kid on the way too, so that's tough to wish death upon a guy who's having a kid and has a big family. So I'm not wishing death upon him, but I wouldn't hate it if he wasn't in my life. Put it that way.
I don't think Kirk's going to pick him one of these weeks, but that is a good outside of the box pick. Let's see. The performance, Steve, you're live to tape today. Any thoughts on his performance? I went back and he, besides saying hello at the beginning of the episode, his first words were like 12 minutes into the episode. How did you guys think he did overall?
Definitely quiet. But also like the show was kind of rolling. Like I don't think it was a stale show. So I think he kind of, I don't know. I think he did his role as a third chair. He contributed when he was asked to contribute. He got Justin a little fired up there when he asked the question about his sister, which was a little weird.
No, it was not weird. It was a very good question.
Maybe, but also kind of strange. Like I didn't know where he was going with it at first, but then I understood the premise of it. But yeah, I didn't have a problem with Steve You're Live to Tape. I think he's doing a show. I don't know if this is breaking news or not, but he told me that I was his first guest, and I'm not sure when it's happening, but I'm doing the Steve You're Live to Tape show.
He was quiet. I mean, listen, it's tough when you go in there and there's a a topic du jour already teed up, ready to go.
Yeah.
And you're in there with Mike, and you're gonna just, have that rolling. And one of the main thing is that it's talked about as the producer. So it's hard to like jump in and just be like, yapping in that
And I thought he had a
situation.
good game. I thought his game, it was
better than mine.
it was slow, but it was like well thought out, and it was difficult. And I
Mhm.
think that's sort of, you're not going to get that pop, pop, pop like some, wacky game. But I thought it was, in terms of just sort of inside KMS world, I thought it was a pretty solid game.
And it came with clips, which was great.
It's always a bonus to have sound with your games. That's key.
And then I thought it was interesting that he did the 40-day beer diet.
That's crazy. I brought that up to someone today after I heard that.
So liquid diet for 40 straight days, but he likes to drink beer. He's a brewer by trade. So he mixed beer in with it. Some days it was Miller Lite, some days it was heavier stuff. Mick,
don't believe it.
Will you try the 40-day beer diet?
I don't believe he did it either. Come on, that sounds like someone's gonna die if you do that.
No, you can do it. It's I know people who have done liquid diets.
45 days?
Yeah, if you take some vitamins and beer is very filling. I mean, people like, what's his face? He just had water for like 100 and something days, the Dalai Lama or whatever. So
That's
not
true.
the Dalai Lama. Who was the guy in
Gandhi?
Gandhi, thank you.
I got you.
But you can do it. I think Justin is the perfect person to try this.
Oh,
because he needs a diet. It's
And
beer. He clearly
beer for sure.
likes beer.
Yeah.
If anybody was going to do the 45-day beer diet, it should be Justin.
Little side note with our friend Justin.
It's a bit.
Little side note with him. I've just thought of this. He should hit the sauna for his skin. That's something that I've been told is really good. Hit the sauna, sweat out the toxins in your face. I think that could benefit those zits.
Well, sweating in general with exercise will help that. But
there you go.
Yeah, the executive diet, right? Or the executive workout. Just get a good sweat.
Mm-hmm.
Get a good sweat.
Long night, just hit the sauna for an hour before. It fixes everything.
Just use some coconut oil to get those scars off, so you don't always have acne scars.
That could work. A couple more nuggets before we get out of here. We're doing well. Again, thank you guys for coming on. Timothy Fax hosts Mike and the Minifans. He does as good a job as he can in that situation. He is the new intern. He has signed papers to be the intern for KMS, but he didn't talk about it on Mike and the Minifans. So do you think on that platform, that's something that may be relevant to the audience that you think maybe he should bring up, or maybe, hey, I have these ideas for the show, or is he just checking off boxes? Thoughts on that?
I'm going to defend my guy Fax here because I am a Fax guy, despite that he is boring as hell, but I love him. I think potentially what would happen in that situation, maybe he just didn't want to make the show mad and it hasn't been like announced yet or hasn't been fully, sealed yet. So maybe he just doesn't want to say anything doesn't want to jump the gun too early, basically is what I'm saying.
He did say it on camera. I forget what show he was on, but it was not on Mike and the Minifans. So he has gone public with the information.
Well, I mean, I think if he's doing that in a weird way, I think it's a very compartmentalized thing where he's doing his KMS intern stuff separate from his KMS network, or is it, I just feel like he's keeping it separate.
I think that would be I don't think that would be the right approach at all. It's all intertwined. I think
that's up to debate, but I think it might be intentional on his part. And I'm a Fax fan. The hosts of these shows have to be the stable kind of. Look at you, Freddie. It's not like you're pretty, serious and.
Oh, he's a pro. Freddie's a pro.
He's a pro, and I feel like
I just have to set the table, hand the ball off to the talent, and let you guys run with it.
I feel like it's, that's kind of the role where you're the steady Eddie of the group. So, Fax gets a lot of shit for being boring, but I think that's his role on the show. He doesn't. He asks the pointed questions. You can, let the guests stir it up.
We all like Fax. I think the facts are the facts. We all.
I do think it's crazy he slept in the studio. I mean, honestly, that was amazing. That is a new father. That is like that.
Yeah, but he's away from the wife and the kids.
A+.
Like
I'm
a
100%.
the night before. Like he's just having a good time.
Next show is Thursday, and we have Mayo coming back into studio, and Max's brother. Any expectations? Mayo has always, to me, been like a little bit annoying, but he always asks great questions. So it in a way, like it still makes the show better.
Andy Mayo makes nothing better at all. So I disagree adamantly.
How you feel, Mick?
Yeah, I disagree with that wholeheartedly, but he's not a bad guy, but he is good to have in there every now and then. But let's not say
good questions. I agree with
Andy Mayo makes anything better though. Like, you know what I mean? He makes nothing better. He's fine to have in there every now and then. He makes nothing better though.
I don't mind his questions. I do not mind his questions because they're like very corporate, like sanitized questions, which makes me laugh because that's Mayo. But at the same time, they're things that would never come up on the show or to Kirk without Mayo asking them. So in that regard, I appreciate it. But yeah, it's a little like, you know, how much sugar is too much sugar. Like at a certain point, you're like, okay, now let's just be organic. Let's be organic with it.
Yeah. He's always good for a few curveballs, which is like good, like twice a year.
But who is this Max? I remember Max was on the phone with.
Max was the espresso martini guy.
That's the Max I know. This is the brother.
It's his brother, yeah. So it's same family with the Electric Empire and all that stuff. And I don't know if they're going to get back into this, but there was drama between the brothers about like, oh, your credit card has mom's name on it, like stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that's right, Freddie. Great call. I
don't know if they're going to get into that. It was a year and a half ago.
Wait, Max, wait. So Max the espresso guy is not the same guy who's coming in.
No, it's his brother.
No, I thought it was Max was coming. Who's coming? What's his name? Will.
Sure.
Is that his name? Will?
I'm not sure his name. He's Max.
I forget his name. I know him as Max's brother.
Okay. Yes. Max's brother. Max is the espresso martini guy who I actually now follow on Instagram from his first episode, which is crazy. But Will is his brother. I was thinking, yeah, no, I don't want to get it mixed up. I was mixing him up with other.
Yeah. I think maybe Mama K had an espresso martini before she started the show.
I did not.
That's all right. It's okay.
So anyways, so I don't know if they'll get into that family drama or not. But they did, like his brother called in and they had a little bitch fest.
I do remember that.
Again, it was like a year and a half ago. So chances are it might not even come up. I don't know.
So this guy Will is coming in who we don't know.
I thought when I first heard the name Will, it took me back to producer search Will.
Producer,
Will.
No, Blind Mike would love that if he came.
Yeah, he would.
He's a Will guy.
Close to the green, baby.
Thank you guys again for coming on. Any final thoughts on the week? Any winners and losers? Any dark horses? Kirk's going to announce the Minifan of the Year on Monday. He's going to do the first and second team all Minifan. He has already declared the Rookie of the Year. He's going to do most disappointing. He's going to do comeback player. Any thoughts on any of that stuff, or any thoughts on anything else across the world?
Who do you think is going to be a disappointment of the year?
There's a lot of options there.
Is Mutt still in the running? Because I feel like that's an easy pick for him.
I think if Mutt's not the favorite, then
he's got to be the overwhelming favorite, right?
The guy was offered a fucking job at Barstool and he disappeared. If he's not the most disappointing, then whoever's making the odds doesn't know what they're doing.
I kind of did the same thing though, Freddie, if you remember.
Very, very different situation.
I would agree. But
you did have an opportunity in front of you, but it was very different than sitting at a desk with Dave Portnoy and Dan Katz,
right?
And literally saying, "No, I got this thing coming up." Your situation was very different,
right? I was asked to work alongside with a pedophile. I don't want to do that.
Again, very, very different situation.
Direct, I'm just being direct tonight.
So yeah, any thoughts on those side awards or thoughts on anything as we put a bow on this
So what's your next step, Mick, from your internet journalism world? Are you going to, I know you're addicted to breaking news.
Certainly am.
So the juice that you're getting, that little, adrenaline rush from all that.
Yeah. There's no plan here.
Talk to me, Mick. What's next?
There's no plan here. I'm just going with the flow, having fun. I like being a part of this world more than anything. I don't have any plans to try to work for anyone or anything like that. I don't know. I like having fun with everybody. And, we did gain some following, but I don't really, I'm not trying to become some Twitter presence or anything like that. It's just kind of having fun with it. And everything that I did report was what I heard. I mean,
get your damn blue checkbook check mark back, get a few bucks in your pocket.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm looking at your bare walls. You need some photos,
decorations in here. This room needs some help right now. I'm not gonna lie, and it's been a while since I moved in. So,
if I were you, I would jump into the ACC and SEC football message boards and see if you can see who's going to transfer to North Carolina to go play under Bill Belichick.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Well,
maybe it lands like a 5-star.
Kirk is on that breaking news.
Yeah, that's his. He nailed that. I mean, all I've heard is Belichick's actually going to sign. I don't know if it's happened yet, but he's been the first to say done deal.
Good for him. He's earned the right to do whatever he wants. I personally wish that he would, I want him to get the NFL wins record. So if he takes this job, then the likelihood of him coming back and getting that NFL record is lower. But he's earned the right to do whatever the hell he wants, just like Tom Brady did, just like Kirk Minahan has.
Mm-hmm. Well said. I'm with that.
And on that note, thank you guys for tuning in to another week of Fireside Chats. Stay tuned. We will keep them rolling. And thank you, Mick. Thank you, Mama
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
You guys have been great. I really, really appreciate it. Have a great night, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Take it easy.